Well, about this time last week, we were hearing a story of a former libertarian candidate for governor being arrested with some pretty alarming allegations. We really haven't heard anything from that side. We only just heard about the charges against Cash Jackson when it comes to issues he's had in family court. Someone who's familiar with the situation, a family law attorney, joining us to talk about family law, but also the latest in the case against Cash Jackson. He joins us now, Ted Bush, here on the WMAY morning news feed. I'm Greg Bishop. Ted, thanks for taking time with us this morning. I guess let's get right into it with the limited time we've got. What is the latest with Cash Jackson? And give us a refresher up to this point for people who haven't heard the story. Good morning.
Sure, I'll be happy to, Greg, and good morning to your listeners on their way to work. Cash Jackson was the 2018 Libertarian Party candidate for governor, and sometimes people in Illinois forget, and some people in Illinois think we only have one party, but we actually have three. We've got the Republican, the Democrat, and the Libertarian. So who Cash Jackson is...
Just to interject briefly, we also have the Green Party, and I think there might be even the Constitution Party, or I think there's a Communist Party out there as well. So just to be clear. But anyways, I apologize.
My apologies. Of major parties that usually get on the ballot. So my apologies to our friends. So Cash was a 20-year Navy veteran, and he ran and got the spot on the Libertarian Party ticket. And what motivated him was his own divorce and custody case, where he couldn't believe what was going on, where he's a fit father, former drill instructor at the Great Lakes Naval Academy, and he's hardly seen his kids. And that's sort of what got him into activism. He became one of the most prominent national figures. And what most people don't realize is that after he ran for governor, he hasn't seen his children in over 2 years at all. And what we've been concerned about, and what we've seen happen a lot in cases like this, when you stand up to the system, is this system fights back. Cash was charged, I believe, on October 7th with allegedly phoning in threatening phone calls to the Lake County Sheriff's Office, which is sort of like phoning in a threat against Joe Biden directly to the Secret Service. It sounds to us to be unusual, and the courts have made accusations against Cash like that in the past. But last week on Friday, there was a significant development where a court in Arkansas found his bail to be excessive in Illinois, reduced his bail from $500,000 to $75,000, and which was enough to get him out. So he's out on bail right now, facing charges by the system, alleging that he threatened the system, which he didn't do. He has never done that.
Ted, you're his representation? You are his lawyer?
I am. Unfortunately, I've been through this since August of 2019. I've been his attorney appearing in court.
Gotcha.
And I've seen it all.
So we've also heard that Illinois was trying to extradite Jackson to Illinois from Arkansas, and what happened Friday with the courts down in Arkansas ultimately saying that the bail was too high. Are they also keeping him from being extradited?
Yeah, that got him out. Not only that, they said we'll take the bail in Arkansas. So his wonderful mother, and his family, in addition to about $6,500 that was raised through online fundraising, that just happened to be about the magic amount that they had. They're not a wealthy family, and based upon about 100 other people that contributed, that was enough to get him out. So yeah, his extradition failed. Illinois failed to extradite him based upon the lower bail amount.
We're talking with Ted Bush. He is an attorney focusing on family law. He's represented Cash Jackson, the former Libertarian candidate for Illinois governor, who ran on a platform of focusing on family law and bringing some reforms to family law. And we've heard this a lot, Ted. And of course, I mean, all the ins and outs about this case and the allegations that are most recent against Cash when it comes to threatening judges, that'll play out in the courts. So we're not going to necessarily touch on that anymore. Of course, we'll reach back out to you and get updates as they happen. But really, all this stems from family law. And I've heard from fathers across the state and even mothers who recognize the courts give more preference to the mother and not enough to the father. But you seem to indicate that it goes even deeper than just that. It seems to that the system doesn't like people questioning the system.
Yeah, we have an entrenched system that is run by attorneys. The attorneys are judges. The attorneys are family law attorneys. But what most people don't know is that the public has already given up on the insiders. About 2/3 of all civil cases in Illinois are now pro se, and many of them are family law attorneys. And most parents have been through this. They've gone through two or three attorneys where they take a large retainer and then withdraw and leave them hanging. Where a lot of parents sort of become Rambo attorneys themselves, learn the law, learn how to file pleadings, and appear before judges, saving them tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the system that Cash saw in his own case back in 2015, 2016, which started to get him activated. And what I've seen, I mean, it's all about money. I mean, this whole family law industry that we have in Illinois is all about money. And your listeners should be aware of it if they ever get dragged into this, or if they've got family members and friends. They need to be deathly aware of how this system can drag you in and never let you go. Not too different than what Britney Spears went through.
Yeah, and when you have the kind of somewhat of an incestuous relationship with attorneys making money as they represent families going through this process, and judges, and we've seen as well, Ted. It's not it's rare that we see it, but we see judges even getting caught, like the pipeline of kids going to one place or the other. We've seen that in various instances across the country. How do we fix this?
Well, I mean, we need to keep the spotlight on. I mean, thanks to your network, you're about the only media outlet that's actually covered this from a balanced perspective. The other outlets up north of I-80 just covered the Lake County Sheriff's Office press releases and aren't covering at all why the 2018 Libertarian Party candidate for governor hasn't seen his kids in 3 years. That's the money question here. Is this system so defensive and so insecure that they will attack out on anyone who challenges them? And that's what's going on here. That's really the fight that's been going on, that Cash has been leading for a long time. And there are other parents. I've got a mother, a 7-year a nurse, a registered nurse who hasn't seen her kids in 7 years. I've got a trial up this morning on that. It happens to men and women, mostly men, but some women are treated just as badly. And it's all about money. And that's what we have to clean up as a state. We need to get together and work together and bring transparency. A lot of these hearings are being held online. You can tune in and you can watch them and see them yourself. So that's what really needs to be done. Is there needs to be more awareness. There needs to be more transparency. And then we can talk to our legislators and other officials in Springfield and fix this.
Ted Bush is with us. He is a family law attorney, getting the latest on the case against Cass Jackson and hearing that side of it, but also delving a bit deeper into family law issues. We see sometimes family law does pop up at the legislature. Maybe, a bill gets a hearing, but it doesn't really advance much. What kind of special interests do you think are able to, profit, so to speak, on
Well,
no changes coming about to family law?
yeah, and that's it. I mean, if anyone who's out there that's following this, if there isn't a proposal that reduces the cost of litigation, it's being propped up by the Illinois State Bar Association. The Illinois State Bar Association, which is family law attorneys, intentionally proposes legislation in Springfield to make these cases more contentious, to make the law more indefinite and more vague and more subject to litigation. And what the parents actually want is the parents want the government to leave them alone. And there's legislation pending by Representative LaShawn Ford for several years that would have a presumption of 50-50 shared parenting in the prejudgment phase, where you walk into court and you're both presumed fit, just like the U.S. Constitution says, and you have 50-50 shared parenting as a presumption. That would save thousands and thousands of dollars. People don't realize that when you go into family court, the first thing that you do is you reveal all your finances. Uh, every county in the state will have you fill out a financial affidavit where you tell the court and the attorneys every single thing that you have. And just like in probate courts and other courts, they will take it all.
Ted Bush, we will definitely talk again on this issue and more. Greatly appreciate you taking the time with us this morning and delving deep into this. And like I said, we'll connect again in the future. All right.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you to your listeners.
Be safe out there. It is the WMAY morning news feed, now 7:21. Let's take a look at that forecast with a high of 54 today.